We kicked our parents out to build their dream home.
No way!
And in just 3 weeks, their kitchen is completely unrecognizable. The last our parents remember, their kitchen had broken appliances and looked way outdated. And since moving them into their temporary home, we've been busy. The first thing we done was smash out their old rotten kitchen units, which revealed a nasty surprise.
Oh yeah.
We then smashed down this separating wall, creating an open plan kitchen diner. But in order to blend the 2 rooms into one, we had to get this whole thing replastered. And now we had an empty shell, we could start the build. With no experience, we are diving headfirst, building our parents their very own dream kitchen. And the last we shared, we came across a big problem in the wall. Apparently, this whole house is so wonky. But by the end of this video, all problems must be solved and this kitchen will be finished. We need to be the first people to cook an egg on Dad's new 5-gas ring hob. So luckily, all the boring parts of the kitchen are in. And it's really starting to take shape now. But the best is still yet to come. We need to pick up where we left off. So we're starting this video by defying gravity. She's solid! You see, even though Mum and Dad's kitchen was so ugly previously, the one thing it had lots of was storage, and Mum and Dad used up all of it. So when we were designing this thing, we wanted to keep that in mind. But what that does mean is that we have to install it. So to maximize space above the countertop area, we're installing the overhead units. Solid. And trust us, knowing Mum and Dad, we have to make these things as strong as we can. But of course, like always, you're watching the professional idiots, and we are a little bit stupid sometimes. Oh my god! Oh my god! That was pucker. Even though it fit perfectly, we forgot to do something in particular. The end panel on the end here needs to be in between these two, because we've already got one here, and otherwise it doesn't match. Essentially, the end panel hides the white, ugly side of the cabinet. And because it was such a tight fit, the one at the far end had to be swapped to the inside by the extractor hob.
Okay, so problem solved. The cabinets are solid, and it's now perfectly symmetrical over where the hob's gonna be. So now it's time to move on to this side. And over here, we're gonna be doing something a little bit different.
Now, I know it's gonna be hard to believe, but this shelf area was Mum's favorite part of the kitchen previously. When we was younger, Mum always tried to keep it organized and tidy. But as kids, we always used to make it messy again. And that's why, over here, we're going to be building her some bespoke shelves. That's also going to hide our dodgy wall and make this kitchen feel open to the rest of the place. But before we go onto them shelves, we're not going to get the true feel for this whole kitchen until we get the doors on. Let's do it now. This was super exciting because it was meant to be a super quick transformation. What? Wait, why are you stuck? That'll do. Oh, it's just stiff. But like everything with the idiots, it's hard.
Look how big that is. No, that's the extractor hole.
Ah, wrong door.
Oh, that goes there. Especially when it came to these under-counter drawers. This 5-second time lapse took us 4 hours to complete. It's been so long. But now most of the doors were on, we really wanted to upgrade Mum to integrated stuff. Because looking back, her previous fridge was so ugly standing alone. But like everything worth having, it's not going to be easy. To prevent yourself from having to open 2 doors when you're opening your fridge, you're meant to install this sliding thing which connects the door to the previous door. And once you fix it into place, surprisingly it works so well. Oh, look at that! So we ran through and did that for every single door in the fridge. Well, both doors. And we officially had an integrated fridge freezer. Oh, Mum's gonna love that. But that's not all. In this cupboard, which is directly under the sink, we're installing integrated bins. Previously, Mum and Dad's bin was in the center of the room, and it was the bane of their kitchen life. So to have a nice pucker bin that slides in and out the cupboard is gonna be so amazing for them. But of course, this thing is integrated, and you guys know already that this takes us a long time to install. Oh my God. 3 hours on one bin, wouldn't recommend. But nevertheless, look how much progress you've made with the kitchen. The doors are looking absolutely amazing, and it is one hell of an upgrade so far compared to my dad's previous kitchen. But the one thing that isn't complete is the oven. My dad is a huge cook, so we've had a delivery. It is our second oven. How sick is that? 2 ovens. Double up. Oh, we're spoiling Dad. And to make this kitchen way more convenient for Dad to use, this one goes on top of the previous one. Oh no. Oh, it's too high. That's too big for that hole, and that explains that gap. That's why there's not another drawer to go there.
I thought it was another drawer.
Oh, good news! We got a bigger oven than we thought. But bad news because it means we have to take everything apart again in order to fit the new one in. This is exciting for us because it means we haven't got to skimp out on roast potatoes anymore. Dad, you got no excuse now. That is a double oven to the max slotted Parker. Look at this thing.
It's so sick.
Whoa! That's crazy. You don't know how long Dad has been wanting one of these his whole life, but now he's finally got one. Flick her on, Dad.
Hey!
Look at that! It's like a blinking iPhone! The iPhone oven! Alright, so now all the doors are on the cupboards, you know what is next, the moment we have all been waiting for. The moment where this thing's gonna start looking like an actual kitchen rather than just some carcasses and some doors. But just before we show you guys the countertop we have hand-picked for Mum and Dad, if you guys are enjoying this series and this video in particular, make sure you smash the like button, hype this video up, it's a new thing on YouTube and you guys smashed it in the last episode, thanks so much for that. And consider subscribing because we're posting every single Sunday. Here we go. Here we go. Are you ready? Oh my God! Look at this thing!
Now before we can admire this too hard, we've got the scariest part of the kitchen up next, which is actually cutting these things to shape.
And the reason why it's so scary is because we have no leeway for mistakes. If we mess up this cut, we have to wait a whole nother week to get some more countertops in. So after we double, tripled and quadruple checked the measurements, we decided we're going to protect the cut from chipping by adding this masking tape.
So hopefully this hasn't chipped.
Right under there. Ooh.
Well, it's not chipped.
No, it's sticky.
Oh.
All this work for this. This is horrific.
Uh-oh.
Use stickers, they say. It won't chip, they say. But now we had the countertop cut, it was time to see if it was a perfect fit. Are we pushing together or what? Hey! Come on! Look at this. Look at that cut. That's Parker. I'm seeing it now. I'm seeing the sink. But before we got too happy, of course, there was a problem.
Oh.
Oh, oh, bit gappy. Oh, oh, yeah, definitely. And the only way to fix it was by pushing the countertop all the way up tight to this joint. But that left a horrible gap on the other side. However, we come up with a plan. Fill it with an iron strip. Now we had all the doors and the countertop in place, it was looking amazing. And to really take this kitchen to the extra mile, we have got some super exciting upgrades. Because previously, this is how Mum and Dad's plug sockets used to look. And I never knew that changing these could make such a difference. But as soon as Dan finished installing the first two, it was huge.
Oh,
would you look at that?
I mean, look at these plug sockets. They are actually so shiny. They're such an upgrade from Mum and Dad's old ones.
And it's all these finer details that we're adding which is going to make this kitchen stand out and make Mum and Dad so happy. So just before we called it there with the countertop, we thought we would take it the extra step further. On the underside of the cabinets, we're preparing the countertop for hidden LEDs. Alright, here we go. Oh, that looks sick!
So crazy. Look at that. It's the hole.
And what we're doing right now is routering out an indent so the LEDs can sit inside them, making them invisible to every direction. This is such a crazy addition and we can't wait to get these lights on. Look at this. That's going to be crazy when there's LEDs at the end of the video. Now, all we've got to do is put all this back in. So we started with the awkward job of moving all the countertops back in place, making it look sweet. So the kitchen now has great storage and looks amazing. It's now time to make this thing functional. Above where the hob's gonna be, we have to install an extractor fan. This will suck out all the odors, grease, and steam from the cooking and push it straight to the outside. Whoa. But in order for that to happen, we have to drill a hole out to the outside. Whoa! We're holy! And as you can see, we're installing a brand new one next to the previous one. Oh, look at that! And that's for a big reason. After we took the old one apart, we noticed that it wasn't working so well. The old cabinets had a massive buildup of grease, and behind the extractor fan itself was rotten. But at least now this has all been replaced, we have peace of mind that this will last for years to come. And now we can add all the door handles. Back inside, we was finishing up all the doors by adding the handles, which will be the same color as the plug sockets themselves. And I'm sure by now you're starting to realize the subtle theme we're going for.
And just like that, we have handles everywhere in this kitchen. It's so sick. Now you may notice there's two things missing from this entire kitchen. A place to cook and a place to clean. Now you've seen our hob, but you haven't yet seen our sink. So introducing the brightest and whitest sink we could find.
And we plan to put this directly in front of the window. Let's get her installed. And to install this, we actually have to cut out a massive hole in the center of our countertops.
Now we start cutting.
And at this point, there is no going back. Whether we like it or not, the sink is going here and Mum and Dad better be happy with it. Now, we specifically chose this sink for a couple of reasons. The first reason was it was the perfect size to be central to the window.
Oh, hey! Oh.
And the second reason...
This is gonna sound weird, but Mum's actually really gonna love this one in particular because she's always talked about how the second bowl is just such a nice addition.
And that's because this was her sink initially. She would always run out of space to put her bowls. But now hopefully that problem solved, we can move on to another. Installing Dad's new 5-ring gas hob. And this upgrade is so exciting because this is the one thing that Dad couldn't live without. You see, previously, this 4-ring gas hob was Dad's favorite thing ever. So to be installing not just as good, but better is so amazing. And I can't wait to see Dad's face when he sees this.
Hey! Look at that thing! We're hobby.
We're very hobby. With the most recent addition of the hob and the sink, we needed some professional help. So you guessed it, in comes Richard. His mission was to get us flowing water and hopefully some working gas. So the first thing he done was install the tap which matched the brass handles and the brass plates. And then went down underneath the sink to plumb in the waste pipes and the fresh water. And within half an hour of him setting foot in our sink,
We officially have flow.
we got water in this place for the first time in 4 weeks. But for the gas, we had to wait for a certain part to arrive. But with the new installation of water, it started to remind us of what happened back at the container with the parents. For the last 4 weeks, they've been using tissue as their draining board. So we had a surprise. Buongiorno.
What is it?
So this. Goodbye to the tissue. Look at it, it's soaking wet. This thing sticks to the bottom underneath.
Oh, and it goes into the sink.
And then it goes into the sink.
Oh, how cool is that?
Yeah, that's good.
Oh, that's
That's
sweet.
better than that other one.
So now the parents' container situation has been sorted out, it's time to transform this whole room. Thanks to our new handy tap that's finally started to work, we could start the decorating process. But before we could paint this whole room with the colour we've chose, on freshly plastered walls, it's very important you apply a mist coat. This is essentially water and emulsion paint mixed at 50-50 ratio, and it stops your paint from peeling off and helps it soak in. Thanks, Painting Man, for the information. You stopped us from making a devastating mistake.
And you guys are right, we should have painted before putting these cabinets on.
But one mistake we made was putting these cabinets on before painting. This was a nightmare. But before we knew it, we finished that and we got the ceiling primed and ready for the paint. Now, choosing the colour for this room was super difficult because previously, Mum chose this horrible blue colour and we didn't want to repeat history. So we decided the best thing that matched the countertops was this off-white.
Now this may look just white, but actually it's slightly different.
And the more we painted it on the walls, the more apparent it was becoming. We believe we've chose the perfect colour for this kitchen. Now the reason why this was so difficult to choose a colour was because the paint isn't even just for the kitchen, it's also for the dining room area. So whatever colour we chose was going to take up a big portion of the house. And in other good news, while we was painting, Richard had the part arrive and could finish plumbing in the hob. So essentially that would mean that this hob works. However, before we turn it on, light it up and start cooking on it, we don't want to get our lovely new painted wall damaged. So we had a plan to install a splashback. Behind the hobs are notorious for getting dirty, so to have something so easy to clean is really important. And to install this thing, all we're doing is sticking it back to the wall. And thanks to our professional craftsmanship earlier on, we had a perfect fit.
Oh, perfect fit.
Now please don't seep up the sides.
It's all on my hands.
Why is it on your hand?
Oh, I'm getting everywhere.
And then we had a perfect backsplash.
And check out the look of this place. It's so crazy in here. Wow. It feels so airy. It feels so much lighter. And most importantly, it just looks new. Now, although everything else is looking sick, over here, we've still got this gaping hole. Now, originally, our plan for this was to tile the entire kitchen, but I think it would just leave us with a bigger problem. Now, earlier, we actually spoke to a tile man, and he said that if we decide to do that, we'll end up with a massive slab of pug on the side and a bigger problem. So we've come up with a better solution. Introducing our upstand.
Look at that.
Let's stick it.
For us, this upstand is going to replace the need for us to go around tiling this whole kitchen. And in our opinion, looks just as good. But because the wall was so wonky, it was finding it difficult to stick back and stay in place. And the only way to force it was for us to weigh it down.
And now we wait.
So for each bit of strip, we had to hold it in place for about 5 minutes. And once it found its stick, we could work on for the rest of the kitchen.
Yeah?
Oh my God! That looks sick behind the sink.
And the more pieces we put together, the better this kitchen was becoming.
And now they can go back up.
And with that most recent addition, the kitchen is so close to being finished. But of course, there's something that we haven't forgot yet. We saved the best till last. Time to install Mum's brand new bespoke shelves. And to do this, we're using the normal end panel of a kitchen and cutting it directly down the center.
Look at that.
As you know, this was Mum's favorite shelf previously. It was convenient, however, there was one big problem: it was so ugly. So with these new shelves we're putting in, we're trying to make them look a little bit nicer, but also keep them actually usable.
That looks nice.
That looks sick.
Yeah.
But our main concern for these shelves was the strength. If Mum gets the chance, she will put anything and everything on them. So we're not just screwing them down, we're actually bolting them all the way through, making them super strong.
That's a pucker sturdy shelf.
And for the wall fixings, we're just hoping for the best. And now one was done, it was time for the second. Because we're such internal designers, we put these on staggered heights so they look a bit more contemporary. But the contemporary look we didn't like was these bolts sticking up.
That was really good.
So we grounded all the bolts off, and once they were gone, they looked so much better. And now Mum's shelves were complete.
And you're sat on our shelf.
You are. And now you're in a washing machine! So after one long, hard week, us idiots have finally finished our parents' dream kitchen, and we're about to reveal the final look.
It's crazy that just 1 month ago, this is how the kitchen was looking. Run down and definitely used is the way I describe it. A showcase of how hard my parents have worked in order to bring us boys up. For 20 years, they couldn't upgrade their own home, but just 20 years later, their kids done it for them.
Alright, you ready?
3, 2, 1! Oh my God! Oh, it looks perfect!
This was our first ever time installing a kitchen from start to finish by ourselves. But we embraced our idiot and just learned as we went. And I'm so glad we did, because it feels so good to be able to say to our parents that we done this. And for many years to come, Mum and Dad will be cooking in the kitchen that we built them. And thanks to the fixed dishwasher, Mum won't have to wash up anymore. And better yet, she'll have some good looking shelves.
But you might remember at the start of this video, we had one mission. Yes!
You split it. All this time.
Now, if you guys have enjoyed this video up until this point, thank you so much. Building our parents their dream kitchen is literally a dream come true, and it's only made possible by the love and support from you guys watching. The support on this series has literally blown our minds, and we can't believe it. And if you guys are new here, make sure you subscribe, because this build series has only just begun. As you can tell by this window, there is still so much work to do, and as a matter of fact, we're doing the whole house. And our parents have no idea.
So guys, thank you so much for watching this series. Check out this kitchen, by the way. Woohoo! We have been learning so much during this series. And thank you so much for your comments, because we read them all. We'll see you next Sunday.
Hey!